Agitvoch and good evening, everyone. Motzei Shabbos Parshas Boy, Tafshin Pei Aleph. Today we will, B'ezrat Hashem, go over Sicha Nun Vav 56 and see B'ezrat Hashem where this will take us. I'm connecting myself to all the people who are in the shir and will be in by the shir. And B'ezrat Hashem Be'er HaKadosh Baruch Hu to give us diburim. B'ezrat Hashem will enable us to get to a B'china of Eretz Yisrael, where we can go from one level to the other in Avodas Hashem the way that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to do it. We're connected to Rabbeinu properly, B'ezrat Hashem. So, without further ado, let me just share the screen of the Sicha with you. Let's take a quick look of what Rabbeinu is saying here. That's not the one I'm looking for. Hold on, just 1 second. Just a second. Okay, here we go. That's the one. All right. Sicha Nun Vav 56. Yesh bnei Adam, there are people, shenidme aleim, that it seems when you look at them, shem rechoikim me'ezeh taivas gdolos, that are really, really far from certain great taivas, great vices. Like they're far from it. They're not. So I think, wow, these people are really fine people. They're really, worked out. Really, Rabbeinu says it ain't so simple. You should know. Even so, it might very well be that person that looks, more idle, more worked out, more pure than his friends, can be worse than his friend. That friend that is immersed in that particular vice. The other one who seems to be clean from that could be worse than him. Why? He has a different vice, that he is immersed in. He is so immersed in it. Even greed, which is a great taiva, it just canceled out when it meets his own particular type. Nimtza. Is I found that he's really worse. Why? Because he's so deeply immersed in a specific type. Even such a great taiva as greed, in such this battle, it fades away because of that particular vice that he does have. And Rabbeinu says this is a very significant point. He says, even if it happens to be the case that the taiva that he is immersed in is smaller, it's less significant than the other taiva. I don't know, he's lazy, he's whatever. Im Rabbeinu says, it doesn't matter. Why? Since he's so deeply sunk in the taiva, that the big taiva fades away because he's so addicted to that particular taiva, as we said before, that makes him worse than the other guy who is steeped in the greater taiva, the more dire, the more, bad taiva. Because he's so addicted to it, he doesn't look at greed or whatever it is, because it means he is sunk. He's totally in the grips of that particular type. Rabbeinu gives an example. There's somebody who's stubborn. Like a baby. To satisfy his stubbornness, he could, totally let go, and bang his head on furniture, and bang, because of stubbornness, because he's stubborn against his mother, that he wants to make her angry. Same way, yesh bivnei adam, that he can just let go of everything. It's like kol taivas, and to chuck away all the vices, for one specific taiva or one specific stubbornness that he wants. There are quite a few facets that we can enter this particular sikha. When a person looks at where he is, whether be it in life or in Avodas Hashem or in his relationship, which is basically one and the same, one can very easily become frustrated that he can't do the things that he wants to do and that he knows that he has to do. And it seems that no matter what you do, it could be davening properly, it could be, that there's a wall of communication between you and your family. It could be parnasa. It could be many different things. And or you think what it is that you should be doing. And you can't seem to find the way to do it, to get over the hump, to get over yourself and to do the things that you yourself know and believe that you should. One of the things that Rabbeinu is telling us here is that we really should find out where we really are. When I am asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu to help me, it could be in parnasa, it can be in shalom bayis or getting married or whatever it is that I'm asking. And I keep on seemingly bang myself against a barrier that simply will not go and not let me in. Ben is giving here an eitzah that says, listen, you may believe that you want to do that which you want to do, or get over certain taivas that you want to get over, or whatever it is that you think that you do. But the truth is that there's something else that you want more, that stands on the way. This is something which is, it's basically in every area in life, but it's easier to see with people that they're having problems in getting married, or people are having shalom bayis problems. A person can say that he wants to get married, and he wants to get married, when in truth, he doesn't want to get married. So what do you mean you don't want to get married? How can you say I don't want to get married? I don't want to get married. Of course I want to get married. No, you don't want to pay the price of being alone. The loneliness, obviously the problems with kedusha, whatever it is, you don't want it, and it's understandable. But behind that seeming, when you speak to such a person, he will tell you, listen, they keep on suggesting the wrong shidduch for me, or I can't communicate with my wife because she just doesn't understand me, because she just doesn't accept me the way I am, and so forth and so on. But the truth of the matter is that person does not want to get married. He may be scared for whatever reason. Being alone, unaccountable, has its advantages. It has its drawbacks, definitely, but it has its advantages. You don't have to worry about anyone else. Maybe the experience that you saw at your parents' household was not that glittering. And you said, I need this. Forget about this. I don't want anything to do with that. In relationship with one spouse, it's a huge obstacle that your wife has emotional needs, and she's a woman on top of that, which means that she has her own way of internalizing and processing her inner equilibrium, which is very different than yours. And we said it many times. So she comes to you, being a woman, and a Jewish one at that, it digs into you. She wants you to take care of her. But you won't do it. You won't do it because when she does that, it makes you feel inadequate. This is like the most common of all afflictions of husbands anywhere, from the North Pole to the South Pole and anywhere in between. When your wife tells you why you A, B, C, D, whatever, you feel oh, I can do this, I cannot do this. And when it comes to Avodas Hashem, I want to make his way to this. Man. I can't bring myself to do this. This is just like too much. Davening word for word. Man, this is like too much. The question is, sorry about that, what other taiva is standing on the way? Can it be that I simply don't want to work hard? I don't want to work hard, excuse me. I got a frog in my throat. I simply don't want to work hard. Why don't I want to work hard? Well, maybe because when I grew up, I was pushed away and made to feel irrelevant. And by being helpless, people looked at me and took care of me. That creates a lifetime habit. So if I'm capable, if I work hard, that means that nobody will look at me. That means that I will be abandoned. I'll be totally alone. It's a very difficult obstacle to get over. But the main nakuda is that, and then it comes into davening in the morning, and the feeling that you get davening in the morning or making us beirados or whatever it is, the feeling you get, it just like goes up and you feel almost like suffocated. Having to hanker down and daven, make his beirados, or do whatever it is that I need to do, feels like, this is so boring. This is so suffocating. This is so not cool. This is so not what I want to do. And in truth, there is something behind it that prevents you from doing it. Because objectively, working hard is a lot easier and much more fun than not doing anything, by far. But there's another taiva behind it. There's another germ of fantasy behind it. If I want to work hard, I will be a wretched person, a misken. I'll be a victim. I'll be a victim. They'll take care of me. This hasn't been true for decades already. It doesn't matter. If that was, quote unquote, my story, this is where I'm coming from, I will still keep on keeping on, playing the same tune, being trapped behind the same thing over and over and over again until I'm in my 90s or hundreds. Rabbeinu is, and Lechor, so, and when you're there, and let's say that the there happens to be victimhood, laziness, or whatever it is, all the other things don't, they don't play a role here. Greed, greed. If I were to be greedy, I would have money. I'd have money. Nobody will look at me. Forget about greed. That person is clean of greed? No. He has a bigger taiva that makes greed insignificant. The same thing applies for all the other taivas. Why? Because I have that particular taiva to preserve my self-image. So what we need to do as Ovdei Hashem is we need to come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and find out, put everything on the table and ask him to help us ascertain what that particular taiva or obstacle, or what in Star Trek used to call prime directive, that the inside of me is saying, that's number one, everything else is immaterial. Find out what it is. That's the first step. As I said many times before, what is my headline? What is the headline that is on top that can describe my mode of living? Is it, I need for somebody to look at me, and the only way to look at me is if I'm a victim, so I'll be a victim? That could be one headline. Another one is, I don't want to, I don't want to fail. I just don't want to fail. I don't want to, I don't want to be shown off to be a dud, to be a loser. The reason why my relationship with my wife is so bad is because when she comes and she has a tiny to me, it makes me feel like a loser. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fend her off and scream at her and make sure that she never comes close to me, because she makes me feel like a loser. I'm not willing to feel like a loser. That already brings us to the second step. Because if the first step was to recognize what it is that my real issue is, and realizing that anything that negates it creates a resistance on my part. I don't want to feel put down. I don't want to make to feel worthless. I don't want to have to work hard and be successful and then be expected to deliver all the time. I don't want that. So whenever I'm expected to do this, it brings up a resistance in me. It's extremely important that we realize that anger and sloth are, and distancing, are reactions. That's not what the problem is. The problem is always that anger is a result of the resistance. It's a resistance to feel a certain feeling that this encounter makes me feel like. I don't want to feel like a nothing. I don't want to feel like a failure. I don't want to put myself in a position where people won't look at me, or people will think nothing of me, or whatever the problem, the issue might be. And whenever I meet it, it brings up a resistance in me. I don't want to feel that feeling. The result is anger. The result is running away. The result is freezing. The result is pushing off. Once you find out what your headline is, does not take it away. It's a step in the right direction. Recognizing what you're really suffering from is halfway there, but it's only halfway there. Nelson explains that being halfway there feels like you haven't even started at all, but it's not so. The next step is harder. The next step is, once you have recognized what is your real issue, and you realize when you encounter situations that raise this resistance in you, the next step is acceptance. Agree to feel that feeling. Let it come in. What do you mean? I should agree to feel humiliated? Yeah. Nothing's going to happen to you. Well, I should agree to feel unsafe. Suddenly, nobody will take care of me. Yeah. When you meet that situation, agree to feel that it's only feelings. And feelings are not facts. The fact that you feel unsafe does not mean that you are unsafe. The fact that you feel humiliated or like a failure does not mean that you are humiliated or that you are a failure. It only means that you feel that way. It's in your mind. The only way that you can ever loosen the grip that particular tava has on your life, that is holding you off from where you need to get, is by acquiescing, is by agreeing to feel that, under my neck and I can't breathe. Nothing will happen. And the only way that you can find what is your real issue, and the only way that you can, the only way you can find what your real issue is with tefillah and help of a friend, of somebody who understands that you can really talk to. It could be a healthcare professional that really knows what he's doing. It could be a friend who knows what he's doing. And everything, obviously, it's a tefillah, tefillah and tefillah and tefillah. You need to speak. Friends exist in order to tell you the truth. That's what friends are for. Your friend can see you in a way that you cannot see yourself. In fact, anybody can see you the way you cannot see yourself. Obviously, your wife is the one who can see you better than anyone else, but she doesn't have the words to tell you exactly where you are. It has to be somebody else. And the way to prepare yourself to agree to feel that feeling without resistance, to take it, comes through tefillah. You can only accomplish this by asking Kadosh Baruch Hu to help you. In fact, this is the thing that brings you home. Rabbeinu says in Teravav, Da ki ikar atshuva yishma bizyoino yidin vayishtok. That's the secret. That's the thing that makes it work. It dissolves the Yetzer Hara. It brings you forth. You have to go through feeling the feelings that you don't want to feel. There's no other way. But that's the one thing you really don't want. I'm willing to pay any price, do anything else. That's the one thing I don't want to do. Yeah, but that's the one thing that you need to do. It's the only thing you need to do. And it's very simple. It only hurts. That's it. I'll do anything to avoid pain. What are you talking about? It only hurts. Yeah. Rabbeinu said, in no uncertain terms, if you don't want to suffer a little, you end up suffering a lot. The guts, the courage is to suffer a little, to agree to suffer. How do I agree to suffer? What do I do? What do I have to do? Once you recognize what is your real issue, what is that particular taiva that you have that you're satisfying, that you're paying the king's ransom, that you don't have taivas momen, you don't have taivas noshim, you don't have anything. Wow, you're a holy person. Yeah, you're a holy person because you're really addicted to one specific taiva inside that you don't want to be bothered. You want to run away, or whatever it is that your particular issue might be. Find out what it is. Use a friend, use a health professional, whatever it is, find out what is your real title, what is your real headline. And when you find out what it is, what are the feelings that you really don't want to confront, you don't want to feel? Something that when you were very young or whatever it is, you said to yourself, never again, I will never do that, never be that, they'll never catch me with my guard down anymore, ever. So how do you agree to feel those feelings? What do you do? I mean, how do you agree? I mean, well, you write a contract. I hereby agree to feel those. What do you do? You feel that resistance coming in you. You know what it is. You feel the resistance coming in you. Just be present. And Rabbeinu says, Yishma b'zyaynai. Listen. Yidam v'yishtek. What does it mean, Yidam v'yishtek? Be silent, be quiet and keep silent. Why the two languages? The answer is you are there, be present, be vulnerable. Be vulnerable. In fact, invite that feeling. Invite that feeling. Well, I'm fearful, fine. Invite the fear. Come in. Nothing will happen to you. And put the new headline that you want. See what the first one is, and see what is the next one that you want your life to be. What is the headline? I want to care about the people around me. I want to daven b'koyach and b'kavana. I want to be open to the world with a heart that is full of love, not full of resentment. I want that. And you talk to Kadosh Baruch Hu and you ask him. Ultimately, it all boils down to that. Find out what is the kernel of Taiva. What is the main thing that holds everything hostage, holds your life hostage. Every single fiber of your being is held hostage because of a certain little thing that you're bringing along with you from way back. If you don't find what it is, you're not going to, chances are you're not going to, unless of course Tzaddik decides that this is not what your tikkun is, but chances are you're not going to free yourself. You're going to bang your head against the wall again, over the same issues over and over and over again, because you're trying to heal the symptoms, not the cause. I want to daven b'kavona, but I don't want to work hard. I want to have a great marriage, but I don't want to be standing there exposed to my wife's vulnerabilities, and I'm supposed to carry the weight and make me feel like 5 cents, like I used to feel since I'm a child. You're not willing to pay the price. You're not going to have, so you can keep on davening for shalom bayis until the cows come home. It's not going to work because you're not dealing with the right issue. If you don't want to work hard and you have resentment and you're feeling your fear of failure is sitting on you again and again and again, you're not going to have parnasa. You're not going to have parnasa because you're pushing, you say, I want parnasa, I want this, I want that. You can say it, as I said before, till kingdom come. It's not going to work. Why? Because you have a vested interest in not making it. Because then you'll have responsibilities. When you don't have money, you can cry that you want to repay your debts. But it's a lot easier because it's black and white. Hey, I don't have money, so I can't repay my debts. Oh, but I need to pay my debts. Wow, you're such a tzaddik. You want to pay your debts. It's so incredible. Oh, wow, man. But the point is, it is a lot easier to do it than if you have some money in your hands. Oh, man, now I have money in my hands. What do I do? Pay debts? Well, if I pay the debts, I won't have any money. So what am I going to do? I cannot do that. So you know something? I'm better off not having any money. This is very clear. I want to pay my debts, but I don't have any money. Finished. I'm off the hook. You have money. You have to see who you owe the money to, who you're going to pay first, who you're going to pay second. Well, such a headache. It's so much easier not to have any money at all. You're a victim. I'm held hostage by a kernel of an idea, of a taiva. It could be small, it could be something insignificant. And I'm totally dedicated to it. I'm totally dedicated to it. And I'm ruining my life. And I'm absolutely positive it's not my fault. It's not my fault. What can you do? Look at her. Listen to her. She's a liar. She hurts me. She puts me down in front of the children or whatever it is that's happening. How can you say it's my fault? I don't have any money to pay. I don't have any money to feed my children. I don't have any money to pay debts. What do you want from my life? Why am I comfortable in this situation? Why do I want this situation? Because there's a taiva in the back, a smaller one maybe, but it's a taiva in the back that I'm totally dedicated, I'm faithful to that particular taiva. And everything else be damned. Until that point in time, where I'm actually going to go on the quest of trying to find out and ascertain what that particular kernel, the nub of the matter really is. What am I really hooked into? What kind of taiva am I really addicted to that I'm willing to pay all this price for? There's no chance that you're going to get out of it. Once you find what it is, then the work starts. Then the only thing it takes is guts, is courage. This is why we're here. This is why we're talking to one another. This is why we should talk to one another. The right thing to do is, following this particular share, anybody that have found that this message resonates with who they are, is to ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu for help on this particular matter. What's my thing? What's my taiva? What's my little taiva that obliterates the big taiva? Help me get there. It really, really works. It really, really, really works. This will probably conclude the Sicha for tonight. And Bezat Hashem, I hope that you have found this to be helpful.